Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're talking what if Captain America was Captain Carter. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I am your host, Brent Casina. That is right, we are coming from you from a hotel room. We are talking about What If Episode 1. I'm on travel for like the next 3 weeks, so you're going to get a mishmash of episodes either from me in weird rooms or I've got two that are pre-taped that will go up live on the channel. Maybe my buddy Jim Afanis will do an animated review while I'm gone. That would be pretty awesome if he did. So maybe a little light on content for the next rest of the month or whatever, but coming in September, we will have back to the regular. I will strive to do the 3 to 4 videos a week for you guys. Have just been prepping for this trip for a long time. So it's a little, channel's a little bit on the back burner, but I do have stuff to release in the weeks that I'm gone. Specifically, we will have what if reviews if they are as good as this first episode was. So let's talk about what if. But before we do that, let me ask you to please subscribe. Helps me out, helps the channel grow, lets you know when I drop new videos, all that good stuff. So, What If is the newest Marvel series, and this is the first Marvel animated project that we have seen come out of Marvel Studios. Of course, if you're a longtime comic book fan or animation fan or a fan of this channel, you may know that DC and also Warner Brothers does a lot of animated projects. We review those here on the channel. There's been a Mortal Kombat one that was pretty good, a Deathstroke one that was so-so. I think that was from the same studio. There's another Mortal Kombat animated movie coming out that I'm looking forward to. I think it comes out while I'm on travel, so if it does, I will definitely check it out and review it for you guys while I am on my trip. But we can talk about What If because it dropped today. I got up really early, and while I was getting ready really early in the morning, thanks to the 3 a.m. rule on the East Coast, I downloaded it to my iPad and watched it on the plane, and that's how I have a review ready for you guys here today on the channel. So, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I was so-so on the animation style on the first trailer. When the second trailer dropped, the full one, like a couple months ago, I was like, oh, I'm all in on this animation style. And boy, oh boy, are they pulling out all the stops. Like, there's more money. I feel like there's more money being spent on this 30-minute episode series than maybe Warner Brothers spends on the hour-and-a-half animated movies. Maybe because it's 2D versus 3D. I feel like 3D is maybe a little bit easier to do than 2D, per se, because you're dealing with models and a style, and anybody can animate the models once you have them designed and rendered and stuff like that, whereas the 2D animation is all being hand-drawn by individuals. I think most of the DC stuff I think is out of South Korea, I think now. I could be wrong, don't shoot me if I'm wrong. But I feel like that would be less expensive than this animated thing. But props to Marvel for doing this expensive, really nice looking animated show that we have called What If. I'm really excited about it. I don't know how many episodes there are this season, if it's 6, 8, or 10. Whatever it is, I'm excited to see all of them. And if they are all as interesting as this first episode was, which was what if Peggy Carter became Captain America, or what if Peggy Carter took the super soldier serum, whatever they called it, this episode was really fun and really phenomenal. And, while sure, as a regular comic book fan, you can say, well, typically, some what if issues diverge really hard. They take like a hard left turn in some of the more recent issues of What If. This, I don't know, I feel like maybe it followed a more streamlined approach of we want to keep it fresh and recognizable for just existing Marvel Cinematic Universe fans. So they didn't take a hard left turn once they gave Peggy the super soldier serum or whatever. They had scenes that were reminiscent of what took place in Captain America, the First Avenger, that film. So if they're going to do that, I feel like it's an okay formula. It's a pretty good formula. I certainly had a whole lot of fun watching this. Captain America, the First Avenger is arguably one of the better Marvel animated movies. Or not animated, but one of the better Marvel movies out there. And Haley Atwell, played Agent Carter in the film, and then she played Peggy Carter in the next two Cap move. I don't know about the next. She wasn't in the second one, right? She was just in the first and the third one. But she also had a season of her own called Agent Carter, which is available on Disney Plus. It aired on ABC for one season. I think there was like 8 or 10 episodes, something like that. I never watched the whole thing. I watched one episode, and it aired in this time where like Agents of Shield was on, and Agents of Shield pretty much made clear after the first season that it wasn't required viewing. And I think Agent Carter came after that first season or after the second season of Agents of Shield. And while I did like the second season and I watched the third and maybe the fourth, I definitely watched the first episode of the Agent Carter series and was like, nah, it's not for me. But this episode of What If was fantastic because I think it stuck to this formula of what they'll probably do in future episodes of sticking to the movies that everybody is familiar with instead of diving off into new directions, stuff like that. So, what if Peggy Carter, this first episode, stuck to the major scenes in Captain America and definitely put a what if twist on them, but there were moments in there where I was laughing out loud or recognized, the environment or the situation, stuff like that. So I definitely feel like that helps the overall general enjoyment of the show as opposed to maybe like a regular what if issue where they're like, what if, and then it's a hard left turn onto its own storyline as opposed to what the show is doing, which is telling you what if in each of these moments. So like the first moment in this one, if you haven't watched it, why are you watching this episode review anyway? But go watch it. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. 2 thumbs way up for me. But, the first what if scenario is what if Peggy got the serum instead of Steve? It all hinges, and it's a pretty cool setup. You have the Watcher's narration talking about what if Peggy, it all hinges on this moment of Peggy saying, no, I'm going to stay in the lab rather than go up to the viewing room as she did in the original film. And that is where everything hinges on this moment. And because she says, no, I'm going to stay down here instead of going with the group upstairs, it actually gives this saboteur more access to Dr. Erskine and Steve as opposed to, I think in the film, he was like upstairs or something. So it's a little bit closer. It's more immediate. It happens a lot sooner, which puts Peggy in this situation that she takes herself and was able to give herself the super soldier serum instead of Steve. I thought that was pretty cool. The next moment is the train moment, where you have the funny, I was like, this was like 6:30 in the morning on this flight from, Florida to Washington State over here. And I was laughing heartily at this moment where they're on the train in the Captain America, the First Avenger, right? So in the movie, this is where Bucky dies, and you're like, no, Bucky! And in this episode, it's like 6:30 in the morning. I'm laughing because it's so funny because she saves Bucky with because it's a nothing burger to her. She's there. She's like, caught him, pulls him back over, and he's like, thanks, Peggy. You almost tore my arm off. And it's like, I just laughed so heartily at that. I probably woke some people up, if not for the loud airplane noise, the engines roaring and all that this morning. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the alternate take of, what's coming out of this portal. They're going to open this portal with the Tesseract and the Hydra monster coming out. They dispose of the Red Skull very quickly. That's what's so much fun about these what if stories is that, they want to do familiar moments for you to go like, oh yeah, that would probably happen or that would probably happen. And they did that here, but it also gives you these moments of like, oh yeah, well, yeah, they might get the Tesseract a lot sooner. Or they might dispose of the Red Skull a lot sooner, or the Red Skull got squished by the Hydra monster at the end of the episode. That was a whole lot of fun. I also think the fun twist here was giving Steve Rogers something to do other than just be like, oh, woe is me, I'm not the super soldier anymore. Like, he's still in love with Peggy. They still had the romance. They still had those great moments. But because they got the Tesseract, the Cosmic Cube, or whatever you want to call it, earlier in the storyline, Howard Stark was able to build basically Steve into Iron Man, called the Hydra Stomper, which is a really cool name, and give him more things to do. So I feel like if they're going to do these moments in the films to give everybody a reference point, as long as they keep it fun and original and give the characters that you love something else to do in these what if stories. I feel like everybody should come away happy. You can't really cry that, oh, they shoved Steve Rogers aside in order to give Peggy Carter a Wonder Woman storyline here, because they gave Steve Rogers something to do. Dum Dum Dugan was in the episode. Bucky Barnes was in the episode. They all had something to do in World War II. And then at the end of the day, they set it up for another what if episode, maybe in season 2, maybe later in season 1, we don't know, by bringing Peggy Carter into the present through that portal, instead of Loki coming through the portal as he did in the beginning of Avengers, right? Peggy Carter comes through this portal, and you have Sam Jackson and Hawkeye standing there going, that's Captain Carter. For a minute there in the middle of the episode, I thought when the Hydra Stomper and Steve got smushed by the ice, I was like, oh, so they're sending Steve into the future because they're trapping him in ice here instead of at the end of the movie in the first one. Well, that wasn't the case. He showed up, to be captured by Hydra, and Hydra had the Tesseract and all that. So I thought it was really inventive, a whole lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to more episodes of What If. I feel like this 3D animation style is really cool. It's something new you haven't seen before. When you have Netflix doing Castlevania and Blood of Zeus, which are all good, and you have the upcoming Witcher animated movie in the Japanese anime style here, to have this artful 3D animated style, a la Pixar, a la Disney animation, whatever you want to call it, this kind of like merging of the two, but still stuck in the realism of comic books and the Marvel cinematic universe feel. I think it's a really cool approach, and I think we're going to have a whole lot of fun with this series. So this is what happens when you read comic book, folks, is that you have fun stories to jump off from and tell new tales. And that is exactly what comic books is all about, and why you should be reading comics if you're not already reading comic books. If you're just watching these TV shows, definitely just grab any comic. Just start reading. There's, if you start with a single storyline, at the beginning of the storyline, I feel like most writers are writing in the Stan Lee rule, which is every book is someone's first comic book, right? That was Stan's mantra, and that's why all the old comics always over-explain everything. But I feel like if you start at the beginning of a story, in issue 1 of a storyline or something, if you're reading month to month, or you pick up any trade, I feel like you should be able to glom on and read everything. And that's really what this What If story is about, is just, come along with us. We're going to tell you a whole story, and it's jam-packed in 30 minutes, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun, and that's what comic books is all about. And that's what these fun What If stories have always been about, as well as the DC Elseworlds, to put a fun spin on something you thought you already knew and take it to new places and that you didn't expect, and new adventures, and give you just a whole lot of fun. You can go, wow, by golly, that was a whole lot of fun to watch. And I feel like we're going to be in for such a treat for the next couple of months watching these What If episodes. I cannot wait to see more of it. This comes with my highest recommendation. I'm really jazzed for this show. So Marvel's What If on Disney Plus, go check it out if you haven't already. Let me know what you thought of this episode down below. I really thought it was a fantastic spin on Captain America, the First Avenger, on that film. And Peggy, Haley Atwell, everybody who returned to the voices did a great job. Howard Stark, all had the original actors come back. Dum Dum Dugan was, Neil, what's his name? The only person who didn't return, I think, was Steve Rogers. That was unfortunate, for Chris Evans not to come back. Maybe they didn't ask him, I don't know. But everybody that did come back did a great job. And I'm excited to see more from this What If universe. And if they want to do another episode of this story in season 2 or later on in season 1, I'm down. I'm so down. This was so much fun. So can't wait for more. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and we will see you guys next time here in the Funny Pages.